What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Leave It to the Judges MMA show. I'm with the boys, Xavier and Nicholas. Today, guys, we're going to be recapping UFC Mexico City, and we're going to be previewing the Apex card next week a little bit. Let's start Mexico City Fight Night, Moreno versus Urzeg. Pretty fun card. Love the atmosphere. I love when fight nights are actually in different places, not just in the Apex. Start out with the main event, guys. We have Brandon Moreno defeats Steve Urzeg via unanimous decision. How did you guys score the fight? People are saying it was a pretty close fight. I saw some people are maybe arguing for Urzeg. I thought Moreno won pretty clearly. How did you guys score the fight?
So let me preface this by saying I only saw like the first like 3 rounds and then like my stream kind of cut out. And then I picked up like at the end of the fight. So I don't know exactly how rounds 3 and 4 played out. I did think in my mind that Moreno probably won. Yeah, he definitely won round one to me. Erceg to me had a better second round, but I thought that like I probably would have given it to Moreno. What happened after that?
So yeah, I agree. I gave 1 and 2 to Moreno. I definitely gave 5 to Moreno, and I think 3 and 4 were like Urzeg or like very close. But
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
how'd you
Probably,
score, Nick?
I thought Moreno clean sweeped them for the most part. I had her saying maybe winning the. I had him winning the second. I thought he won the second, but besides that round, maybe round four, like at most. But 1, 3, and 5, he lost hands down. Uh, yeah, I had it 4-1.
Let me see if I can find the scorecards here.
It was all 4-1 across the board.
Oh yeah, 49-46.
What was
Looks
the
like
what was the round that they all had him like winning?
Like,
3,
Okay.
really three.
which is fine. Basically what I got from the fight is Urzeg, I do shit on him a lot, but he is really talented. He just does not throw enough. He's too defensive in my opinion. He has great striking, really nice leg kicks, but he was never the initiator. He was always just waiting for Moreno to throw, and Moreno was just more active, landed the bigger shots, mixed it up nicely, got some takedowns. That's what I got from the fight. What did you guys see in the cage?
I was thinking like I was seeing like he's way more like single strike than Moreno. Moreno's boxing extended combinations were a lot better. And at the highest level of the sport, you can't like always hit people with like the first strike. Sometimes it takes three to land one, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to like throw, and then like you might catch them on the third shot, as opposed to like these guys who just kind of try to pot shot their way through the fight. Like against like lower level comp, if you're like it's like the John Jones method to striking, like how he's always just single shotting people, but like he's pretty accurate when you're like dealing with like flyweights, these guys are small as fuck and fast as fuck. So like if all you're gonna do is like try to throw a fucking jab out there one time every like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, then like maybe that jab may miss, maybe the jab may hit, but either way, I feel like when Usyk lands, it's not typically the big things that are landing because like it's like single strikes and like even when he lands one, it's not it might be like okay, finally he landed a good jab. But like when Moreno's throwing, it's like he's throwing like boxing combinations. He might land like 1.5 punches, but it just looks like more activity.
Mhm.
It looks like he's more active and like it looks like he's throwing with a little more intent. So I thought body language wise, like at least from what I've seen, like Moreno was leading the dance.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you just said. I just feel like Urseg wasn't active enough in there during the whole fight. I thought he was letting Moreno, as you said, lead the dance the whole time. I just felt like he was looking for 1 or 2 shots the whole time instead of combos. And Moreno was putting nice combos together. Felt like he was investing way more into the body shots as well, which I thought was a good game plan. But yeah, I thought Moreno just kind of he just threw more. That was the story of the fight. I felt. Um, when Ursig did go at times, he had good success and defensively was pretty good throughout the fight, but just not enough, man. Not enough.
I
For
think
a
getting
guy,
I think getting chinned by Kai Kara France probably made him a little extra like gun shy. I was kind of feeling like, especially because like that other fight barely like with Kai Kara France barely even got going for real. So it's like it's kind of hard to like get that out of your mind when you just get sparked like that. Especially like for these lower weight guys who like barely that kind of doesn't happen to you a lot, where like people are like kind of like rocking you clean with like one shot power all the
Mhm.
time. So I think that he kind of felt to me like he was a little extra defensively sound and didn't take as many risks as I thought he probably needed to in order to like match Moreno's fire a little bit.
Yeah, and I do feel for Urzeg, like coming off back-to-back losses, he just gets thrown in the fire again with Moreno. On the other side of the coin, though, that is an excellent opportunity for him. And I think like he did come away with the L, but he looked good, so he didn't really lose much stock in my opinion. It is a three-fight losing streak. I would definitely love to see Moreno fight someone or Urzeg down the rankings a little more. Just three really tough opponents in a row. I think he should I should oh my God. I think Urzeg should fight what's his name? Kai Asakura, the guy who just fought Pantoja. I think that's a fun fight. It'd mostly be on the feet. It's a step down for Urzeg. It's also a litmus test for Kai Asakura. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I like it.
Ah,
Or if you guys have any other names,
Yeah, I
feel
don't
free.
really know. Like,
I was gonna say more like a Bruno Silva type. Um, just because like he's also coming off of a loss type shit, and I know Kai's coming off a loss too, but I feel like that kind of doesn't coming into the day to the promotion and like losing against Pantoja doesn't like tell me very much against like about like where you are. Um, I do think that like Kai has power in his fucking hands though, and if anyone's gonna boom Urseg again, it could be Kai. And if that's the route that we're just gonna go, like fuck my team, I guess. But like outside of him being on my team, I can understand like if you really want to build up Kai, having him chin a known person like Urseg is a good fucking way to do so. But like I as a person who like has him on my team and wants him to get some wins, I kind of would rather him fight like, you know, a little bit someone I think is a less dangerous fight for him, like Silva or even like Tim Elliott, like
is he even fighting though? Like, when's
who's
the last time? When's the last time Tim Elliott stepped in there?
damn, that shit was 2023. I mean, he's still holding up a ranking spot. So like, shit, man, and shit or get off the pot.
Facts.
You know what? I would love a fight with like Josh Van. I would love that fight. I think that's fireworks.
It's a banger.
Or, I mean, Tatsu Terra,
At least he's not gonna get knocked out in that van fight, most likely. So he
he,
can at least like throw down with like some more confidence, maybe.
exactly, fireworks. I think that's a cool fight. Tatsu Terra, he hasn't fought since the who did he fight? Royval?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's been a good while. I believe that was like October-ish. I think that's a cool fight as well. I think they match up somewhat well with each other. But that would be about it. And maybe Albazi. I mean, I don't know, man.
I was thinking that one too, maybe.
I don't know if Albazi is him, honestly. But yeah, maybe give him someone down in the rankings just to build them up a little bit.
I mean, even Alex Perez for real. Like,
Oh yeah,
I'm saying any of these guys that like are ranked lower than him that I think. I mean, shit, Perez ranked higher than him now.
Kind of
Shit.
like
yeah, they're right next.
I'm saying like go up one.
I kind of like the Perez fight.
I mean, yeah. One. I mean, that's probably the fight that he probably should go after most, just because he's like at least it's a step forward. But I don't even know if he needs a step forward, bro. To be honest, he just needs to
He
like
needs a win.
he needs to rebound, get his mojo back, get his confidence back together. Fight against someone that like he doesn't think can chin him. So like that's why I think that the Van fight, even though Van is a fucking dog in there, and that's definitely a fight that Van could win. But I think that from a striking perspective, I think Ursa can like let it go a little extra because he knows like Vance Power is not gonna just do him in quick. So I don't know, man. I just need him to get a win, man. Rebound a little bit because this is not it.
I
Well,
would love the Van fight.
yeah, that would be sick. Let's move on to what's next for Moreno, though. Former champ, obviously,
Mm.
coming off back-to-back wins against Albazi and Urzeg. Kind of tough to match make for him right now. Let me hear what you guys have for Moreno next.
Uh,
I
like you said, it is kind of tough. Um, the fact that he lost to Roy Val in his last fight, um, like how many times have they fought? Two now or
Yeah,
one?
it's 1-1. I maybe
Yeah.
the trilogy fight makes sense.
Yeah,
They're both still top contenders.
I was gonna say like because of the 1-1 nature of that rivalry, that should like probably earn him another shot. Just because like Moreno's kind of reaching that point where it's like he's almost like Max Hollowaying the division to a certain extent. Like the Roy Val thing was like okay, like that fight was close as hell and like really could have gone either way. Um, but it's to the point where like you can't really give him a title shot necessarily. Like the UFC is not in a rush to give him a title shot against Pantoja as long as Pantoja's the champ again.
Mhm.
But he's like right there to where as soon as like there's a new champion, he's probably the first one to get a title shot as long as he's like winning off a win, you know. He's establishing himself as like the most deserved consummate. He's almost like Yuri. He's almost like Yuri, where it's like you kind of can't give him a title shot just because like we need a fresh matchup, but at the end of the day, like he probably deserves it most, you know? So I think he just gotta, play it by ear. And then basically I think if I was him, I would fight in conjunction just to make sure that like whenever off Pantoja fights, like I would fight kind of around when Pantoja fights. Therefore, like he can keep himself on that timeline for whenever inevitably Pantoja eventually loses the title. He can position himself right there.
yeah, I would say like I would have him fight Roy Bell for the third time. I feel like that fight makes sense. And man, when you look at the first fight, there is just no way I could see this soy boy Roy Bell just getting the better of the like I couldn't believe I saw it. But that happened because I believe this man kind of sucks at elevation sometimes. And that's why he hadn't won in Mexico City ever in his whole career until Saturday. So I think he struggles at high elevation, low key. So let's get this back in the apex and let's see how Royval does there with his, you know, 20 miles that he does in like an hour or whatever. But I think that fight makes sense. I think Moreno could beat Royval. And also those two are kind of just holding up one and two, and they're just not gonna get the shot versus Pantoja. It doesn't make sense. They're a combined 0 and 5 against him. It doesn't make sense. And plus, like Carter France is like already supposed to be getting this title shot, I believe. Um, maybe they throw Roy Bell into the rematch versus Cape, so that might leave like Tatsutura versus Moreno or Cape versus Moreno. I think there's a bunch of fights you could just make with Moreno.
Give Cape his fucking title shot. I don't give a fuck, man. I'm sick of this shit, man. Sick of this.
I, I was gonna say maybe Cape Moreno. That'd be a badass fight, but like the issue would be if Moreno beats Cape.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
yeah,
Why
so
would the UFC is not really in the interest of like just of like knocking down its like its few title challengers. Um, I feel like it's a lateral move because like I mean because the thing is like if he beats Cape, you can't deny him a title shot. I don't think, but like
yeah,
then it just gets to the point where like we know that the UFC damn near wants Cape to like get to a title shot at this point. You know what I mean?
yeah. Definitely the fans do. Like people are rallying behind him. I think they do Moreno, Royval 3, give Cape the winner of Kaikar France and Pantoja, and just like move on from there.
I feel that. I can agree with that.
I could see it.
All right, then, boys. Let's move on to the co-main. pretty quick one here. We got Manuel Torres knocked out Drew Dober in the first round, dropped him with a really nice punch, and then kind of Curtis Blades TKO'd him. Dober just wasn't answering the punches. What are you guys' thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, I know that like Dober was kind of protesting the stoppage at first, but it was a good stoppage.
Yeah.
Deep stoppage.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see like his face after like they showed him the replay and shit. I saw him complaining and shit. I was like, okay, no, like Dober's out. Like it was kind of it was like yeah one of those Curtis Blade situations where he's kind of like shooting in on a single leg, so it's kind of hard to tell if he's 100% out. But then like based on his reaction after the fight, he didn't know what the fuck was going on,
Oh,
bro.
hell no.
Yeah, he stood up like no, let's go. Like, he protested for like minutes after the fight, or like at least like a minute after. So that tells me that you're pretty rocked. Because usually when a fighter's there the whole time, they can either like accept or like get mad at like the fact that the fight was stopped. They're not just confused and asking like, "What? It's over? What? It's over?" So I mean, hey, that's a good win. Um, definitely a good win. Dober is like, he's getting a little older, but he's still like that's still a name that like holds value in the division, and he still like has shown to not be washed. So yeah, I just thought it was a good good performance.
Yeah, not much happened. It was basically a straight 1-2 down the middle. Dropped him. Dober tried to go for a single and just basically got pounded into. I actually thought it was a pretty late stoppage live, only because Dober wasn't really reacting to anything. He's kind of just sitting there getting hammer fisted. Like, I feel like the fight, it wasn't like super late stoppage, but maybe like 5 seconds earlier. But
In the moment, I felt like I was confused. I was like thinking, I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's out, but I also wasn't sure. Cause like I said, it's a little weird when someone's like literally just like on their hands and knees and like they're kind of in that like I'm going for a takedown kind of position. Cause
Mhm.
sometimes like just because you're holding onto that leg doesn't mean you're still awake. And other times it does mean like, hey, no, I was still trying to change positioning. So like I do kind of like in those positions, like because it's not as bad as if you're on your back getting hammer fisted, or if you're like not in a position where you could necessarily maybe scramble out.
Mhm.
It doesn't look the worst to the ref's eyes, especially because they can't really see your head. Your head's like buried, so they're
Yeah, I
not
can't see
looking
your
at it.
face.
They
Like,
can't see your eyes. They can't see if you're opened eyes, closed eyes. Like they can't really see because it like his head was kind of down, so it's
mhm.
like you can't really see any like noticeable like head drop. So I do kind of err on the side of if you can. I know I like to protect the fighters, but if someone's fighting and they're fighting well, I do kind of err on the caution. I mean, on the side of like letting these guys grow out on their shield a little bit, just because like I really hate when fighters lose like unjustifiably, and then it's like, okay, well, fuck, like they were still there. The ref apologizes, but like no real recourse happens. We don't really remember that later.
No, yeah, no.
Like the record books don't remember it. The UFC doesn't. They rarely like they rarely go, oh, like that was a bullshit stoppage. We're gonna give you a fight up the rankings next time. Like that's rare. So I understand. Like I didn't think that the stoppage was late, but like I understand. Like in those situations where you can't see their face, like just kind of being a little bit more lenient with the fighters.
Yeah. The only I totally agree with that. The only thing with that specific stoppage is it's just so many unanswered punches. So yeah, but I get what you're saying. I hate when like false finishes. Prime example of that, Lawler versus Ben Askren.
that
Worst
was,
example I can think of it personally.
that was great though.
Yeah,
That
I loved it as a Ben Askren fan. That fight was going absolutely horrible for me. Um, but I'm not gonna lie, when you watch it live,
it looks like
it
you.
looks like
No, no,
he's
yeah,
down.
yeah.
He literally was like doing this, and his the way his arm just drops down. Whether or not like he was saying that he was just trying to relax in there, but like the way it looks is like he just that arm just really slumped down. So it's like it looked horrible. Like I can't. that one. That is one of like the more notable examples of like a fighter that like kind of got like gypped, but like at the end of the day, like I think as a fighter, you are also responsible for the visual and body language in there. It's the same thing I kind of feel about when these fighters like lose close decisions, and they might have won. Like I'm watching them win actually the striking exchanges, but the body language is really piss poor in round three, and it's like. I can't fault a judge for looking at your body language and taking that into account. It's the same thing. Like you have to, as the fighter, if you're okay, you have to also like play that poker face and like be okay, like seem okay, then like seem like you're fucked or like seem like you're out of there. So like, these refs are human and they make mistakes too. So I think that like it is a little bit on the fighters to like manage the visuals of everything, the optics.
All right, though, guys, let's move on to the featured fight of the card. Edgar Chairez knocks out CJ Vergara. Oh, no, he didn't knock him out. He knocked him down and then submitted him with like a face crank. Really emotional, like heart-touching interview after, but another fight, not much to talk about, just a pretty quick finish. Let me hear it, guys.
I thought Cyrus looked good in there, man. Hagar was kind of like moving around laterally, getting on his bike a little bit, what he tends to do, kicking at the legs lightly. Um, but once they started to like actually get to the striking portion of the fight, like it was pretty clear that like Cyrus had like a power advantage. Not too many strikes it didn't take before he. It kind of seemed like Vergara was the more like one that was gonna be on his bike and Chirez was gonna basically have to like track him down. But as soon as he, finally caught him clean, he went down and like was kind of he was pretty rocked like pretty quickly. He tried to poker face it, but then like another follow-up shot and he like went down and got like not subbed immediately, but like it was clear like I don't think he was all the way back. He didn't seem like he was all the way back, and then like, he got subbed, man. Another quick performance. There was a lot of there was a couple of KOs on this card, and it was a lot of finishes, so I fucked with this card like in terms of that aspect. So yeah, not too much to say. Chira's looked good. Vergara just got caught. Like not too much to say.
Yeah, I'm becoming a big fan of this man, Charez. I loved his fight against Van. That was a crazy fight. Uh, Even before that, that Brazilian who always gasses out within 3 minutes. I forget his name. But like he subbed him, but then it didn't count or something. It was one of those Ben Askren, Robbie Lawler situations. They called that one a no contest.
Oh, Lacerda.
Yeah, yeah.
He subbed him in the rematch though.
Yeah, and then he subbed him, so I was like, you know what? This man got some good submissions, good takedowns, power in his hands, pretty complete guy. So, once again, I was impressed. I wasn't really surprised. I feel like he almost beat Van. Like, that was a very competitive fight. And yeah, Vergara was just a big step down. So I'm not surprised he KO. Well, he subbed him in the end, but I figured a big power edge, which he
Rocked him.
had.
Rocked him.
That was basically it. Once he knocked him down, he kept him down there. Uh,
I
Nice
think
submission though.
I think he looks like a very old 29, man. You look at this guy, he looks like he's cut from that Powhatan cloth, bro, a little bit, but
Yeah, he looks like Botan a little bit.
he looks like Powhatan's little cousin, but like
Guys, let's move on to the Raul Rosas Jr.'s fight. Defeats Vince Morales via unanimous decision. Rosas Jr. looked pretty good. He controlled most of the fight, but almost got caught in a couple of submissions by Morales, but he gets the unanimous decision dub at the end. What are you guys' thoughts on what you saw from Rosas Jr.?
2 words for ya. Crimson Chin, okay? Let me tell you right now, man. This kid's ability to like tuck that chin, he gritted through some bad looking submissions, man. I was thinking that my fucking parlay was chalked. to be honest, a couple of times in that fight. And it was kind of like some weird crafty shit that like Morales kept getting on him. Like I can't even tell you what it was because it just like looked kind of weird. He was kind of inverted. Um, but yeah, that shit looked nasty and like you said, he dominated most of the fight, but he was in a couple of tough situations and like showed grit in there. Like I seen there was a moment with like probably 10 seconds in the round where I think it was round three or two or three where he was like caught up in the sub for a while. And I seen like Morales had made an adjustment in the last like 10 seconds that like kind of put extra pressure on his neck. And he was like, I seen him kind of like with like 5 seconds left in the round, kind of like do the hand like this, like thinking about it. He was like grinning through it. And then he like instead like uh arched his like bridged his back a little bit, kind of alleviated the pressure a little bit, and like made it to the end of the round. And I was like, holy fuck, this kid has grit, man, if nothing else. Because like at 20 years old, like I know he like is used to grappling a lot and shit, and he probably like gets like he's used to kind of being in chokes and shit coming from like a jiu-jitsu base. But a lot of guys who aren't as um accustomed to the grappling would have definitely tapped out there, man. And I seen him think about it and decide to not. So shout out him for the grit. Morales was very crafty on the ground, which everyone knew going into the fight, but like I think that it was more impressive than what Morales was able to do jujitsu wise, and it was impressive that Rosas was able to like pass that test. Um, Nice stepping stone. I thought that Rosas looked good on the feet. He's definitely making strides. His jab it looks a lot better. He doesn't look lost when he has to be on the feet. It's not to the point where I feel like he's not gonna shoot the takedown eventually, but I think that it's very important that like that'll always be like his grappling will always be the bread and butter of his game. But it's important that like fight by fight he gets a little more and more and more and more and more and more and more comfortable on the feet. And I'm seeing that like in the striking he doesn't look lost anymore. Um, and he's getting a lot more defensively sound than he looked against Rodriguez. So. Really impressive win for the kid, man. Really impressive win for the kid. I think he's 20 now, only 20, with like way more UFC experience than your average 20-year-old man. Like how many people are 20 years old, like 6 fights into their career, you know what I mean? Like that's crazy as fuck. Sky's the limit for this kid, and I thought he passed a passable, but albeit like scary at points t test here.
Whew. I thought it was boring. I thought it was completely boring, honestly. But I thought Rosa showed up, and I expected him to dominate most of the fight, which he did. Morales had that one. I feel like it was an inverted arse or some form of that. That was pretty tight. It got a little sticky in the third round, but I feel like I honestly kind of had Rosas winning every round, maybe third to Morales, but like I feel like he was dominating most of the fight, controlling the position. He was following Morales pretty well. Morales didn't make it easy for him on the ground, but I Rosa's just the better fighter. Vince Morales, he's been brought back for a quick second. I mean, let's be real, probably about to get cut tomorrow. So, but we'll see. Um, Another step in the right direction for Rosas. I kind of wish though, like he looks for more like rear nakeds and stuff. I feel like he focuses a little too much on the control sometimes. Want to see a little more damage, just a little more, but it was a sound performance, pretty good. A little boring though.
I think I kind of disagree with you, Clark, in terms of the fact that like I think that it's important that at his young age at least, I think that what you're talking about will come eventually, where he's a little bit more willing to take a risk, like a Charles Oliveira. But I think that for him, he's still young in the game, too young in the game to where there's certain positions that he does not want to get caught in. There are positions where like I don't think he necessarily knows exactly what to do with when he's like when he's forced to grapple defensively. Um, and I think that it's important, especially like gas tank wise right now, as he like, finds his footing in there. I think it's important for him to keep the fight where he is comfortable. Because we've seen in the Rodriguez fight in his first loss where when he finally couldn't in rounds 2 and 3 grapple fuck him, and he was forced to kind of strike for extended periods. And then eventually Rodriguez started to get him with some shit once he started to gas out. It was like obviously like for any fighter, it's more tiring to be fighting the fight where you're less comfortable. And I think that at this current point in his game, I think that if he were to get too like reckless going like hunting submissions and hunting finishes, I think that he can end up we've seen him like end up in bad positions like even in this fight, where in certain scrambles, like that's how it was rare that Morales went out there and shot a double leg and took him down and worked his way from there. It was always in like a transition, always in like a weird, funky scramble that like Morales would kind of find these sub attempts. So I think that that's probably why right now, at least, he's like more focused on maintaining his position, because hey, at the end of the day, boring or not, that's what wins you fights, man. And high key, nothing's more annoying than a fighter like having a dominant position and then fucking losing it because they tried to chase something that wasn't there, and then now you end up on bottom. Shout out Dustin Poirier for the Gilly merchants, all my Gilly merchants out there. But I'm just saying, like when guys do certain shit and like they're a little bit too aggressive, like we're gonna be kicking him. We'd be kicking him right now if he ended up getting subbed because he was too aggressive. So I think it's more important for him to like stack wins and learn than like be entertaining right now, you know?
Yeah, and I also think it's more important for him to stack wins as opposed to climbing the ranks instantly. I know he said in the press conference like that's what makes sense for him the most is a ranked opponent. I kind of disagree. I
Fuck
think
no.
he has all the time in the world to keep getting better. And yeah, the issue is we're like what happens when a guy just isn't gonna be taken down by him. He starts stuffing takedowns. I'm not saying he looks terrible on the feet, but like he's gonna be a lot of trouble, even in the bottom end of the top 15. So if I'm his manager, just keep farming these nice wins, keep clip farming, and eventually we'll get a top 15 opponent. What would you guys do as his manager? What do you want to see from him next?
Off the top of my head, I don't have any like unranked people in that division like that easily just come to mind as like a step up. But I think that he definitely just needs to be brought along like a Bo Nickel type, you know what I mean? Just bring him along slowly type shit. Even slower than Bo Nickel, honestly, because he has way more time in the sport like left. So I would just say just keep like giving him slightly different stylistic opponents, just letting him see and experience and feel different shit in there, and then how have him round out his comfortability really.
I'm currently looking up all the bantamweights on the roster. Let me see. Maybe give him like a Miles John. Nah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe like that Chinese buddy. I can never say his name right. Ella Tang. Or did he just fight him?
I'm not sure. So you're muted, Xavier.
Oh shit, my fault.
Yeah, Ella Tang. I know
The
he fought some.
Yeah, are you talking about Arichi Ling? Arichi Lung? Because that was his like last fight prior to this one. So
Uh, Maybe. I do not know. I do not know.
I don't know. I can't even lie.
The point is just bring him along slowly is the point. Like what you give him, keep feeding him like not softballs, but like guys with veteran experience who excel in one aspect or another. But like don't give him someone that like he 100% cannot out grapple. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm
it's
with
not
that.
Erlang. It's not Erlang. Different guy.
Uh,
Different guy. You know what? A cool fight would be him and Brady Heinsten.
that sounds winnable to me.
But yeah, we just take it slow, man. All right, though, guys. Let's move on to next week's card in the Apex, Las Vegas, Nevada. We got the returning Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. 5 round main event. Should be a fun fight. Uh, let me hear it, guys, and let me hear a prediction.
I don't know where Emmett's durability is right now. Um,
Emmett is 8, Lerone Murphy's 10 right now, just for reference.
yeah, I don't know where Emmett's durability is. Last time out, he sparked Mitchell, but that was in 2023, almost like a full 2 years removed. Like more than wait, no, not more than 2 years, but like we're like a year and like 3, 4 months now at this point. Um, so it's been a minute, man. Once these fighters start getting up there in age, you don't really know, and they're having like long layoffs between fights. You don't really know necessarily what version of them is gonna get back in the cage, and you have to always assume it's gonna be a worse version. But Emmett has always been durable, and Lerone Murphy, for all his good striking acumen, does not get the most finishes. He's kind of a decision merchant. So I would have to just official prediction. It would be Lerone Murphy by decision. But I also think that like it could get a little hairy for him. I don't know. Has he fought more than one Murphy? I'm saying has Murphy fought more than one 5 rounder in his career?
No, not in the UFC at least. It was
I
only
know, I know,
against.
I know he went five against Barbosa, but that's like the only time, right?
Hey,
So
Yeah.
um I could see I don't know exactly if like what Emmett's gonna have left going into the latter rounds, but if Emmett is not taking as much damage and kind of like more so like marching him down, which is kind of how I see the fight. I see Emmett kind of pressing forward and Murphy kind of like more so defensively slash like counter striking him and kind of trying to pick him apart like that. Um, if he gets tired as fuck, I could see a world like not I don't predict it, but I could see a world where Emmett probably finds some big shots late and at least makes it really hairy down the stretch or has some moments in like round 4 and 5. But overall, I think Murphy should be able to outpoint Emmett and win not easy decision, but like a clear decision, a clear unanimous decision.
yeah, I mean, I agree. I got Murphy winning this fight. The big thing for me is Josh Emmett's 40, man. You know, he's 40. You know, that's all there is to say. I'm not picking most fighters who are 40 and above. So, but I think matchup wise, they match up pretty well with each other. I think, both pretty good strikers. You know, they love to sling some good, some good striking on the feet, and I think it'll be a banger. I think they're both very tough fighters as well. I feel like we might be in for a treat, like a Josh Emmett, Shane Burgos rematch here. I could see it being that kind of fight because I don't think Murphy's a tough dude. I think he'll be fine just going into the fire. I think Power Edge slightly leans Emmett's way.
Definitely image
I,
way.
Yeah.
but I think Murphy is tough enough to take him. I feel like I've seen him take very hard shots in the past and just like eat them. So I think he can take them. I think he'll be the slightly quicker guy.
I would hope, man. The
Yeah,
man's 40.
in this fight. But Emmett's like that weird quickness. Like he's got a little weird quickness in him. But I think it'll come more in bursts for Emmett, especially in a 5 rounder. I don't know when's the last time he fought a 5 rounder, but I just feel like the more the
It was against
It was against Ilya.
it was against Ilya.
yeah.
And Ilya was touching him up in that fight. So I think his biggest superpower, especially at this point, besides like the power in his hands, is the fact that like Emmett's going to like he doesn't quit on himself in there. And that's like more than like I don't think you make it to 40 in this sport if you do quit on yourself, honestly.
Yeah.
Um the one thing you can count on is like Emmett is coming at you for 3 to 5 rounds and he will still have power in his hands late. Like he doesn't gas out to the extent where like he can't catch you with one shot. A lot of these like heavier punchers kind of are useless like late, where it's like that once their power is gone, they don't have like the technical ability or the output to like kind of win rounds really. He is that guy where like if you are too gassed, he will crack you because like even in round five, he will be throwing that overhand right and trying to clean your shit with it. So um Murphy does have a test ahead of him, but I think it is a test he should pass.
I think
Yeah,
Murphy just has the better skills as well. I think a clear path for him if he wants to choose it would be taking Emmett down. I think he has the advantage there. I think pinning him against the fence, he has the edge there. I think he's a good clinch merchant once in a while. So, but yeah, I think it'll be a good banger.
yeah, I'm gonna also go with Murphy. I just feel like Emmett, he doesn't have a lot of offer on the feet besides that like really nasty overhand. And Lerone Murphy's like a super safe fighter. I just don't see him getting caught with that. I was a little worried because Ige did drop Murphy kind of badly in Murphy's last fight, but like
He recovered.
he recovered. And Josh Emmett, he has amazing power, but he doesn't really have the technique and striking combinations that Ige has. And yeah, the 40 thing, it makes it even worse that it's at such a low weight class, like old age low weight class. That does not mix well. I think Murphy gets a uh I'll say 4-1 unanimous decision.
I feel that.
But yeah, that concludes the main two topics of the video. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we wrap it up? Anything on your mind?
Shout out Brad Tavares, man. He finally has another winnable fight here.
GM3,
Against GM3, man. Shout out Mearshart too, man. Still doing the damn thing. I just don't know how much grit he has left at this point.
ultimate unk fight.
I think I might take Mearshart in that. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie, this is a loser should retire fight to me. Um, Especially if it's Mearshart damn near.
Yeah.
Uh, Even though Tavares is like off 2 losses, it's to Rodriguez and it's to Rodriguez and Jung Young Park. Two guys that like are at least on the more so like up and comer side of things. So clearly, like the UFC is trying to use him as a guy to like build people's name off of. Same shit with Mir Sharp, man. He just subbed up Shabazian like a fight ago and then lost to DeRitter, so you can't really blame him for losing to DeRitter, of course. Like it's DeRitter. And then like, Shabazian that win, even though like we keep wanting to believe in him. Like subbing him is not like super impressive. Like it's been proven that like that is a very easy path. So I'm not gonna give him too much in terms of like it's a win. It's a win against a credible guy or like a very well-known guy, but that doesn't give me a lot of confidence that he should keep fighting in there, especially if like, he gets like sparked quick by Brad Tavares, and I don't see much grit off of him. It might be just time to hang it up. But yeah, and then for Brad Tavares, if you're losing to Gerald Mearshart in 2025, you definitely need to just call it. So ultimate unk fight, man. Shout out these guys for still doing it, and I think that Brad Tavares should be able to get a win here.
Hey, shout out Jeremy Stevens coming back to the UFC. For some reason, I don't know why we have
Oh, yeah.
re-signed him, but he is coming back on the Sanhagen Figgy card.
Are they gonna give him someone? Who the fuck is
He's
that?
he's fighting Mason Jones, and I feel like Mason Jones has disappeared for a few years as well and is coming back. So
At least they're not bringing him in against a fucking active killer right now type shit.
Mason Jones is 15-2 though. So
Um, I have some news for you guys. I almost forgot the name of the promotion, but GFL, right? The GFL. I'm pretty sure they announced officially they have cards. I think. Let me see. For May.
I I heard a couple of fucking matchups kicked around. Like did I see a fucking Benson Henderson versus Showtime 4? Did I see that?
Yeah.
Am I
This,
tripping?
all right, I'll share the screen with you guys. One sec.
Tripping, bro. Is my boy Hendo gonna get his win finally? Fuck, bro.
This is. I think this is their official website.
Been waiting my whole life for Benson Henderson to beat Pettis, bro. Fuck.
All right, guys. So May 24th, 25th in Los Angeles. We got to go, guys. Come on.
woo, let's get it.
What's up,
Tickets
man?
are on
What
sale.
what are, what are these tickets, bro? $40? Let's get it, man.
They're not on sale yet, but where where's the card? I
I will not pay more than $60 for a card of this magnitude, but
joined the movement.
Just join the movement.
I swear most of the cost has to be the travel to Vegas and shit. And the
How how do they afford all these fighters? Like, how is this like? What is that?
Where the fight? Go to league or yeah, go to league.
yeah, I gotta see what the fuck going on, man.
What the
How the
fuck?
GFL works? Yeah.
Where are the fights announced? This might have to be a Twitter situation here.
You click
I'm
watch,
sorry.
maybe. Watch, maybe.
Oh, look at this. I didn't know this. A decision loss. It's 1 point.
This is like PFL.
So you get points for losing.
These are like PFL rules, right?
You
I'm not
get you okay. You get points for making it to the bell. Like that's
okay. Okay, that's fair, I guess.
you get no points if you get finished, and it incentivizes finishes. So we're gonna end up in a situation where like a person's team is gonna need like 3 points. They're gonna be down 3 points, and like or they're gonna be down like 4 points, and like in
Okay.
order to really move on, they need a finish. So like you go in needing like it could be a situation where like one person is focusing more on like just surviving, and one person's like having to like go balls to the wall and take extra risks because we know that they need a finish to for it to matter at all. So that
I,
could add a little interesting dynamic to these fights, but overall these guys are 40, so I don't know how many of these fights are gonna make it to the fucking decision anyway.
I was gonna say,
I see more finishes than not with these old fuckers.
oh
Yeah.
no, for sure. I was gonna say, like, yeah, that is actually a cool idea. Cause like, hey, your team's down, you need to go for a finish, but like the fighters we're talking about here are just not it. I'm sorry. Like the fighters going for the finish, I don't know. Oh, but look, guys, they have athlete benefits. The UFC doesn't have this tab on their website.
50-50 revenue share is crazy. This business will be tanked in a fucking week.
Retirement benefits.
The only beauty is like we don't have to worry about the long-term fucking job security of these guys because they already shouldn't be fucking fighting anyway. So when this fizzled out in like a year or two max, we will probably be like, yeah, it probably should have. You know what I mean? These guys need to stop fighting anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fast.
Yeah, I see a bunch of them.
Who are these people? Who
I have no.
every team has a coach. Okay, I know Yair Mendez. But look, they don't even have him. Like they don't even have, it's not even the website's not even complete. Leota Machida is your manager.
Hey, they're doing Gustafson versus OSP.
Oh my god. That's a crazy fight.
Man, hey man, Gustafson needs to beat his ass, man. If he doesn't, I'm gonna be really sad.
Hey, OSP went the distance with John Jones. People forget, man.
Ooh, Benson Henderson versus Pettis.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Wait, where are
That's
you?
a fun one. Let me see.
I seen like that's what I seen like announced like whatever you're seeing, Clark. That little card I've seen like those fights announced, but
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm just on Twitter. I'm
Oh,
on Twitter right now.
here. Okay, so here's some of the fights I think.
Yeah, that links up with what I have.
Morales versus Ray Borg? No way. Or Maurice? That's crazy.
Well,
I swear I hope that they're letting these guys tap the roids, baby, because we might see some crazy shit, to be honest.
You know,
I don't think that they're testing these fuckers, bro. And like
oh hell no.
we might see some fucking charged up boys, some TRT Mendez activity,
I
man.
was gonna say Mendez is gonna come in so sauce, dude.
Back when Mendez was on that shit, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Oh
He's
yeah.
on something. But main event, we got Uriah Faber versus Renan Barão. Two former bantamweight goats, but now they're in the GFL.
Hey man, like I said, like I always said, man, this shit shameless than a fuck, but I will watch. I will watch
Oh, I'm
happily.
gonna watch.
I will watch. I will watch happily, but like I just don't know how sustainable this business model is. 50-50 splits with the fighters. How does that work? With everybody?
They're just saying. I promise they're just saying shit, bro. Oh, so they have back-to-back cards.
fuck yeah.
Okay, Ferguson Dennis, I do like.
That is a must-watch fight.
I don't know who Ray Borg is, but I'm taking him to beat
No,
Maurice.
you know Ray Borg. He fought for a belt at
Yeah,
UFC.
he was in the DJ days.
Oh,
Well, was Borg the one who got fucking thrown in the air and armbarred?
Yep.
oh yeah, okay.
You've seen the clip. You've seen the clip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But
Hall versus Lima. That's not a terrible fight.
yeah, that's interesting.
That is a exciting fight. That might be like really the best fight that they fucking have in terms of like two strikers that are both past their prime, but like both still kind of like not overwashed compared to most of these guys, I would say.
I'm rooting for Paige Van Zandt.
Of course, you got to support Page, man. Fuck.
12 gauge page.
12 gauge Page, man. Power slap Page, baby.
They got a Nurmagomedov on the card. I don't know who. Abu.
Abu. That name rings a bell, and I feel like he was shit as fuck. So
Who
hold
is
on. I gotta pull this guy up real quick.
who is Julia Budd?
Who is?
That
I have no idea. But I have a feeling Holly Holm might lose that fight. I don't even know who the fuck this bitch is.
Let me see her photo. I might. I don't know. I honestly feel like that Henderson versus Pet is the coolest fight.
Of course, man. But this is like my boy Hint. This is the thing I'm obviously the most excited for here.
Hendo.
Why these guys keep running it back? Like fuck, man. But I just know that like Pettis is just like overall Benson Henderson the better fighter I think. And he like but like historically, but like it was like Pettis has always just had his fucking number, bro. And like this literally is the fourth time that they're gonna fight. They just fought in some karate combat shit like less than a year ago. So fucking, I need my boy fucking Pettis. I mean my boy Hendo to fucking lock this win down for the one time before it's all said and done, man. But fuck it.
I just saw they have Robles de Spain fighting like a 58-year-old Todd Duffy. They're just throwing him in there.
Come on, man.
Yeah, Spain will clean this whole roster, man. He's Ngannou to these boys.